And get our acceleration here with the Defender. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the all-new Land Rover Defender. Now this one is a 4-door. I also did a review on a 2-door that Harrison Mitsubishi does have as well. So if you guys want to check out that review, that'll be posted shortly after this one. But first off, go check out their inventory in the description below. They have a bunch of crazy pre-owned inventory, and then also the new Mitsubishis as well. And let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Defender, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6. It goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it's also paired to a mild hybrid system. Now, total system outputs 395 horsepower and then 406 pound-feet of torque, with your average fuel economy being right around 20 miles per gallon. Let's go over the front end of the new Defender. So first off, you guys will notice that you've got this really cool blacked out trim there at the top portion that breaks up everything. Definitely contrasts nicely the silver paint on this one. And then we've got these full LED lights just down below. And notice you've got that same design on this area. And we've got our fog lights right here. And then we do have parking sensors integrated into the front bumper area. And then notice how you've got kind of like all the little squares right there for the grille. I think that looks cool design wise. And then you've got your giant Defender logo. But yeah, other than that, there's the front end, and I just love how it looks so wide here from the front because of the widened fenders. Now, coming around the side here, we've got two 55mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And notice that the tire setup is a little bit more aggressive here on the Defender. Obviously, it's an off-road SUV, so you do want to have more aggressive tires. And then other than that, notice how you have the plastic molding that goes all the way along the side of the Defender. And then right up here, we've got some venting here on the side, which also looks really cool. And notice how they continue the design even onto the mirrors and right there onto that little back portion. But other than that, here's your full side view. Now let's pop into the back of the Defender. So first off, you guys will notice that this actually does have a 3rd row, and then you've got all the protection there on the back portion of the seat and then here on the floor. And again, it matches the design they have there on the outside. And then right over here, we've got our controls to raise or lower the back end here because this does have air suspension. Now the 2-door I reviewed didn't have air suspension, so if you want to see one without air suspension, then again, look for that review shortly. Coming over here, notice we've got a climate control there on the side, and we even have a cup holder here. So even the back passengers live in the life of luxury. And then look up here, I just love the fact they have the window up there just like in the old school Defenders. And then if you guys are wondering, payload capacity is over 1,100 pounds in this. Now let's finish things up here in the back. So first off, I love the look of these full LED lights. You can definitely tell it's a Defender at night whenever you see these because, I mean, there's nothing else on the road that has lights like that. And then notice we've got our Defender P400 SE badge. And then we've got more parking sensors here on the bottom of the bumper. And then you've got your receiver hitch there for towing. Spare tire there on the back, which gives it a cool off-roader SUV look. And then other than that, that is everything for the rear. Now here's the door panel in the back of the Defender. So first off, notice that you've got the nice leather trim here where you're going to rest your arm. And then we've got a couple speakers here for the sound system. And then you do have that blind spot monitor icon right there so that it warns you if someone's in your blind spot before you open up the door. And then here is the 2nd row seat. So again, full leather here. You've got the really cool design there in the center portion with the perforated leather just down below. And we do get rubber floor mats and all that. But let's actually pop in quickly. So stepping in, step in height is great. It's really easy to get in. Tons of headroom here. I'm 5'11", and then legroom is also solid. And then notice, again, we've got climate controls here for the rear, and then you've got a bunch of areas where you can charge devices on top of that. But yeah, that's everything for the back. Now, for the sake of the video, I did pop here into the 3rd row, but I'm just gonna be honest, space back here is not great. So I would pretty much reserve the 3rd row for kids, or if you had to put someone here in a pinch, and I really mean a pinch because you pretty much have no legroom. Headroom's fine, like there's tons of headroom in this, but legroom, pretty much non-existent back here. Now here's the door panel at the front. So again, you get that cool exposed bolt look, which I really like. And then again, you've got the soft touch leather just down below with all of your window controls. And then you've got the memory seats, and then again, the blind spot icon, so it lets you know someone's in your blind spot before you open up the door. More speakers for the sound system. And then here are the seats at the front. So full leather here, you've got the cool design down below, and then we've got the perforated leather down below that. And then here's the power adjustments there on the side of the seat. And then notice we've got the pedal layout right there. We've got our parking brake just up above, and there's one more look before we actually pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the new Defender. You've got leather wrapped around the entire steering wheel with the heated steering wheel button just down below. And we've got this for our cruise control, voice command, and phone controls. And then if you press that button right there, then it actually shows you the controls to control the center stack, which is pretty neat. And yeah, overall, really cool steering wheel design. Got your turn signal / light stock, winch wiper stock on the other side, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center stack on the Defender. So first off, we've got a bunch of different menus that'll give you different bits of information on the vehicle right here. It's just basic info like, hey, what's your tire pressure, for example, and then set up for the center screen, music, all that kind of stuff. So pretty much everything you have in a modern vehicle. The one thing that's pretty neat is the full digital readout with the RPMs and the speed just looks really good. My favorite part of this whole center stack is actually the drive mode select. So I'll show you guys later how to change the drive modes, but I love how it shows a mini Defender right there in the center screen, and it shows you the different kind of like areas when you go into the drive modes. But basically you have like a normal mode and then a comfort mode and then an eco mode, and then you have a bunch of different modes for off-roading. And I mean, that's because this is what this is all about. And I love how it has a wade mode. Like there's a mode on this so you can go through the water, which I think that's awesome. Here's the infotainment system in the new Defender. Sorry about the glare, but first off, we're going to pop it into reverse. You guys can see you've got the backup camera with the bird's eye view, and the trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. And then if we actually pop it into drive, notice we get the front camera that'll pop up. So from a camera perspective, it's really, really solid. As for the rest of the screen itself, first off, response time is really good on all of the buttons, and we actually do have a camera button. I know we just went over the camera system, but I did want to mention, notice you have the on-road camera, and then you can press for the off-road camera, and notice how it gives that little depiction right there. And then we even have a towing camera, so yeah, that's all pretty cool. Shortcut buttons are really great on the outside of the screen. It's just really easy to use overall, and so yeah, just as an infotainment system, it looks good and it's easy to use. Now there's a couple more features that I do want to mention in the infotainment system that are really neat. So first off, you have wade sensing, low traction launch, vehicle dimensions, which actually shows you the dimensions of the vehicle like it says. And then I like the 4x4 because then it shows you stuff like the altitude and then all the vehicle information, then also the drive mode you're in and everything. I don't know, I just think it's really neat. But yeah, that's everything. There we have this whole center stack for the Defender. So first off, we've got the shifter. We can pop it into reverse just like that and then pull it down for drive, and then over for the manual shift function. And then when you want to go into park, just press P and it'll throw it into park for you. And then you've got this for the radio, and then you've got a bunch of stuff here for like the climate system, but then also for the drive mode select. So for example, I can press that button and that controls the fan speed. Or, so like let's turn it on for example, you guys can see that you've got the fan speed, then you have the temperature, and then I can press this and then that'll let me do the drive mode select with that one. You can turn them off, and then you can push it in for these seats. So you can do the cooled seats, or you can do the heated seats on either side. So pretty cool that you've got all those functions into the two buttons. And then we've got our hill descent control here, and then the buttons for the air suspension right there. And then you've got your low range, and then the rest of the climate controls. But yeah, that's that whole center area. Got a couple USBs here with a 12 volt just underneath, and then tons of storage space right there. And then within the cup holders, and then center console completely covered in leather. And then opening it up, you guys can see good storage space within that. Notice there's a wireless phone charger in front of it. Love how it says Defender there, and then yes, this is a grab handle, but it's also beautiful because you've got tons of leather. And then down below, and then there is a little USB right there. Opening up the glove box, it's a pretty normal glove box for a vehicle, and well, that's all she wrote. Now up top here, we do have a sunglass holder, and then we have a full panoramic sunroof in the Defender. And then yes, we have the camera mirror system, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of this from a safety standpoint, but then also from a practicality standpoint, it's perfect. So yeah, that's everything for the top. Now, if you guys do want the most up-to-date pricing on this particular Defender, then check out Harrison Mitsubishi's website, again, in the description below. And also, they've got multiple. So they have, as of me filming this, they've got 1 2-door, and then they have 3 4-doors. So yeah, they are stacked with Defender inventory, and let's take it out. Quickly go over visibility here in this 4-door Defender. So first off, you got the visibility over the hood, which is really good. And then there's your visibility through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, which is actually really good. Now, I did just drive a 2-door before this. I will say the 2-door visibility is better than the 4-door. And that all being said, let's set off. We are setting off here in the four-door Defender, and first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. And I will be making a ton of comparisons between this and the two-door because I just drove the two-door Defender right before this one. So first off, feels like a luxury car. Really, really smooth, really quiet. It's actually a relatively windy day today, and it mitigates that very, very well. So you definitely get that luxury car experience. Now driving this back to back with the two-door Defender that has standard, that just has coil suspension versus this that has the air suspension, there is a slight difference. Now, I don't know if it's kind of like compounded because this has air suspension and it's a little bit longer than the two-door, but this definitely feels slightly smoother than the two-door, but it's not like a night and day difference. It's like you have to drive them back to back and then you'll notice. But if you don't drive them back to back, you won't really notice the difference between both of them. We're about to go around to this corner here and we'll be able to see the handling here of the four-door. Definitely can feel more weight compared to the two-door. It's quick. I love the sounds you get from the engine. You hear a little bit of turbo noise. It definitely lends to a fun driving experience from a sound perspective. And yeah, the turn-in's great. Definitely has a nice turn-in. And we're gonna get our acceleration here with the Defender. And that's not even full throttle. This thing's quick. We'll go full throttle now. Yeah, it gets up to speed really well. And even at highway speeds, wind noise is really minimal. Again, this is a boxy design, so you'd expect there to be quite a bit of wind noise. It's minimal. It's super smooth on the highway. This would be a great road trip vehicle. You'd be able to put tons of miles on it. Like, it's so luxury. This really does feel like a luxury vehicle. Land Rover definitely nailed it from that perspective. And let's get into summing things up with this four-door. And again, I'll make more comparisons to the two-door. So first off, from a looks perspective, obviously looks are subjective, but I will say for me personally, I typically prefer four-door vehicles to two-doors, but in this case, I actually do like the two-door Defender just a little bit more from an exterior aesthetics perspective. But then from a practicality perspective, this is way more practical. It has a higher payload than the two-door. It has more seats than the two-door. You've got more storage space in the back because you can fold down the third row. And so it's just definitely more practical. But the two-door does look a little bit cooler if you ask me. And then in terms of performance, the two-door definitely, you can feel that it's lighter. You do feel that in the turning and the handling and all that. And the acceleration, this does feel a little bit slower compared to the two-door. Very minimal. If you didn't drive them back to back, you wouldn't be able to tell. And so other than that, which one should you get? Should you get the two-door or should you get the four-door? Here's what I have to say. If you want the practicality, go for the four-door. But if you don't need the extra space, like just seriously think about this for a second. If you really don't need the extra space, I would go for the two-door for the looks and for the off-road capability and for kind of the little bit better handling that you get with it. And then get one without air suspension so that you can do like a crazy build. That would be cool. I want to see that. One of the new Defenders lifted with crazy tires and all that kind of stuff. That would be fun. But yeah, overall, this new Defender is extremely impressive. I understand why it's won SUV of the year, vehicle of the year, all that kind of stuff. It really is that good. Now that's going to sum things up for our review on this new Land Rover Defender. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Mitsubishi for giving me some time with this Defender. Like I said, they've got the new Mitsubishis, but they have crazy used inventory as well. So check out their inventory in the description below. I'll see all of you in the next video.